and we're going to go through the NBA slate and NHL. We're going to see what I'm doing over there. We're going to take a look at the golf as well. It's a pretty easy week to make the cut, just because there was only like 100 golfers, 110 golfers, and they're letting 65 in. But we're going to take a look and see how we're doing. Well, we're going to feature cut sweats. For those of you who don't know, this is a really, really good, fun site to sweat the cut. That's the best way to describe it. What it does is it like knows your lineups, and it'll show you like how many of them rate to be 6 for 6. So this is kind of like the field here. So it looks like the field, depending on the buy-ins, be somewhere between 15 to 20%, which makes some sense. Let me go to my lineups here. So this is, I mean, there's a whole bunch of these that are 6 for 6. Actually, not as many as I thought. Wow. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. Wow, less than I thought. 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21, 22, 23, 24, 25. It's out of 150. 16, 17, 18, 9, 30, 31, 32 out of 150. Hey, what's up, Joanne? So, sorry. So this is the cut sweat thing. So 32 out of 150 made the cut, which is good. And also, what's also good news is that in the 1, 2, 3, in all the bigger buy-ins, it looks like I'm going to be making the cut in all of them, which is really good. Actually, in the pitch and putt, I'm not doing really well at all. It's like 16% making the cut. But in the bigger buy-ins, 6 of 6 looks pretty good. So that's pretty good with respect to golf. What's his name gave me a little bit of a scare. The Jason Day went to +2 for a little bit. Then he, made a couple of birdies and finished that off rather nicely. So this is the cut sweats. Again, so this is. I encourage everybody. Listen, it depends on what type of person you are. Like if you really like sweating and all that kind of stuff, this is pretty cool. Like this cut sweat thing. It'll break down your lineups. It'll tell you like what players you have, like with the impact, like how many of them are in 6 for 6. Like Tommy Fleetwood, it says he's in 26 6 for 6. So you have 2 out of 6. That's pretty good, and that's 33%. That's better than the average. Terrell Hatton made it to -1. Now, the people who are doing the best here are, at least for me, are Cantlay. He's a -5, and I have him in 25 lineups. So this is a pretty cool little bit of analytics here to just make things a little more entertaining. I'll tell you what's not entertaining is the NBA slate. But so first of all, let's do the easy one first. If you wouldn't mind. +2 all gems. I think we could check that as well. Was it +2 with a small chance of going to +3? Let's just double check that. It's actually 4% to go to +1. Oh, so this is actually kind of interesting. So given the fact that I have all these lineups that are kind of in already, I'm actually rooting for this to go to +1, right? So it's actually, this is what datagolf.com, if you look at this, what this does, will show you like the percent chance that it goes to each one. So this is becoming kind of fun. So like I said, 59% to be a +2 and 1% to be at +1. And this is kind of like where the cut line is kind of like hovering around here. Okay, so if like these guys can get up to +1, like Hoagie, Koch, we can get 65 guys up there. Then you got like, Lucas Herbert can maybe get down to +1. Then +1 could be the nuts. Actually, there's 67, so you need to get 2 guys, right? You need to get 2 guys, I think. So you need to get either Hoagie, Zach Johnson, I guess, and Greg Koch. So two of those three. Is that right? And then there's also a chance that one of these guys goes birdie birdie at 15. So we'll keep an eye on that um, as this develops. So let me talk about the easy part of tonight, and that's the hockey. It's basically three teams. I mean, Winnipeg and Edmonton rate to score a lot of goals. One of these teams, if not both of them, are probably the best players. But then secondarily, Seattle, I like that, and then a little bit of Carolina. So again, hockey's very, very short slate, and Winnipeg and Edmonton probably dominate the majority of the lineups. As a matter of fact, my Saberson build, uh, I have, what do I have here? Team stacks. Let's see what I ended up with. All right. Yeah, like 58% Winnipeg. Actually, underweight on Edmonton, which is interesting. That's always dangerous when you go underweight on Edmonton at home. But that's the way it is. So I have mostly Winnipeg, Seattle. I have some Devils and some Anaheim. So that's my stand tonight, I guess, is going underweight on the Edmonton side. And they can put up 7 goals in like two periods. So that's a little bit dangerous, but um, that is what it is. Just a couple of updates. I did the MMA betting breakdown today. Hopefully that made it up to the site. If not, I will stuff it up there um, in a little bit. But I think I'm supposed to have made it. Yeah, contrarian betting breakdown. They made it up there. Okay. Jason Day finished off at par, which is nice, and I guess that will do it for that. So the NBA is kind of a crapshoot. So all right, so you're saying before we pull up the sheets, I can't stop to play Vanderbilt again after two straight disappointing games. So let me pull up my sheets, and then we can talk about this because I don't believe in any of this stuff. So you have all these Clippers who are showing up as these as top values, and I just don't exactly get it. You have Nicholas. We're sorting by points per dollar. You have Nicholas Batum at 3,200, projecting at 21 fantasy points, and then you get. When you go down a little bit, Eric Gordon, 3,700. He's projecting for about 23 fantasy points, and then Bones Highland at a flat 3K. So I went to look to see if like Paul George was out or something like that, but he wasn't. I'm not exactly sure why all this stuff is popping, but nonetheless, it is. And then you get this Moritz Wagner play at about 6.5x. He's projected for only 20 minutes, and that's kind of annoying. But what makes him kind of intriguing is because he's part of that good game environment. Not game environment, but kind of like projection environment. Because you pair him with Cole Anthony, who's also a decent value, and then you can also play those Charlotte guys. Yeah, Kawhi is out. I don't know. I knew Kawhi was out, but I figured there'd be somebody else if these guys are going to be that popular. But yeah, so I guess this is why. Um, so what you could do is you could play like Moritz Wagner and Cole Anthony, and then you could play those really good Chicago plays, Charlotte plays, Oubre, Rozier. So you can make kind of a little 4-man, kind of like that. And Rich, you're saying that those rumors that PG-13 will also sit. Okay, so that's the idea then, I suppose. So yeah, it's a 10 o'clock game, I think. So it's not exactly what people want to do on their Friday evenings, but unfortunately, if you want to play the NBA, this is kind of what you're signing up for. The 10 o'clock game. Well, it's one of 3 10 o'clock games, and you might get like Paul George sitting out like after these first set of games. So what you probably should do if is if you're going to play guys in the first games, just make sure that you're having good plays. Like play guys in the Orlando Charlotte game. Really only play really just amazing plays from these spots. Like, don't speculate on Brooklyn, Boston, or the Phoenix, Chicago game. I wouldn't do. I don't think I would do that. But the Oklahoma City, Utah game, you still have Dort and Giddy, I believe, as both pretty reasonable plays, right? Not like a lock or anything like that, but now they're showing Trey Young as a decent play too. I mean, you could make a Trey Young, Damian Lillard thing if you wanted to. Um, that's, I mean, I'll tell you this: like, if this game is going to stay close, I mean, you have Atlanta as a 9-point favorite. It's going to be because, I mean, obviously because Lillard just goes nuts up. Um, and no, I guess I didn't get any projection on Cam Reddish for some reason. I don't know why. Like, I'm just pulling him from maybe. Yeah, there it is. Cam. Yeah, he's fine. 5.3x. I have him, but much pretty poor compared to some of these others, especially these New Orleans. So the other one, okay, is the New Orleans. So New Orleans game, that if I'm not mistaken, that doesn't start till 10 either. And we don't exactly know who's starting between Hernan Gomez and Jackson Hayes, right? So it's a listen. It's one of those slates where if you win, you're going to earn it. You really are. Um, very very difficult. Um, wait, I want I want my I want the spreadsheet up. Why is the spreadsheet not up? Hold on. Let's undo this. We're going to share. Stop screen sharing. Then we're gonna enable it again. No, I don't want to do a tab. I want the entire screen. Okay. Okay. Um, so I guess that's the deal. I guess with what's his name out, like you said, uh, Kawhi, that usage just has to go somewhere. Um, but I mean, why don't we just play Paul George? You know, like you're saying, it's possible that he's at some market. Okay, so Marcus Morris is out as well. Okay, all right, that's fair enough. Now you're saying that there are rumors that he will sit. Was he listed as questionable, or is just people that you know what I mean? Like people are just like you said, people are speculating. Let's take a look. Let's take a look and see like if there's even like a questionable or anything on him. If he's questionable or just a late questionable, that's not good. Paul George, then nothing here. Um, Tony Kukoc, you mean? And Dragon. Yeah, okay. All right. Well, we'll pull that up there. But I don't know why would we want to sit Paul George. He only played 27 minutes. I'm gonna temporarily call BS on that speculation. If he had played like a full Monty, you know what I mean? Like, but okay, we have Cam Reddish revenge. Who's he playing? They playing the Knicks. Is that the story? Cam Reddish revenge. Oh, they're playing Chicago. Wait a minute. Cam Reddish is on Portland, right? Oh, against Atlanta. Okay, yeah. Oh, yeah. Okay, that's fair enough. He gets the minutes. I don't know. That's not exactly my thing. So let's just start again. So Orlando, Charlotte. Yes, let's play guys from there. We'll play Moritz Wagner. We'll play Cole Anthony for value. We'll play Oubre and Rozier. You can play all four of them if you want, and not cost yourself anything. I think Brooklyn and Boston. I think you should exit out just because, like I said, you just got too much other stuff to wait on. Portland, Atlanta. If you already play that, the only thing I would do is play Lillard and Trey together, and then play, and then maybe, like I said, maybe a couple of Charlotte Orlando's, but leave some room for that LA Clipper value later because you're going to need it anyway. Phoenix, Chicago, I wouldn't play anybody from that game at all. Knicks, Miami, I wouldn't play anybody from that game at all. The Utah, Oklahoma City game. funny when I built a little bit earlier. I talked myself into this idea of playing like a bunch of these guys, but just the way that the projections just kind of worked out. You have Taylor Horton Tucker is barely, I wouldn't say barely viable, but I mean he's definitely not as good as he was this morning with all this Clipper in New Orleans stuff. So maybe you can just skip the Oklahoma City game, with the exception of I still think that Giddy and Dort are probably worth playing. See where this. Yeah, Giddy at 7,900. But then again, I mean, like you could still do this. Tucker, Markkinen, and Giddy. You stack all of them together, and that's an interesting build. Actually, that's actually not the worst. I would have played worse. I would have made worse lineups than that. Um, and then Memphis, Denver. I think you could play Jokic with the idea that you could just kind of afford him, because of all that value. And you could play a Jokic. You could probably get away with doing this. You could probably play a Jokic Morant together if you want. Um, New Orleans, Golden State. I'm still waiting for some Golden State guys to get ruled out. This is a back to back. You think Clay is playing for real? And why would they do that? This is going to be the late news. I think. I think that they might sit some Golden States. Again all the more reason why you put stuff off. Uh, I think you play. You know, Valanciunas is doubtful. Fine, so it's going to be either Hayes or Hernan Gomez or both. I think they're both going to be good plays. I would not play them together, but they're going to be good plays. The Clipper value, as I mentioned, uh, Sacramento. Yeah, I mean you could play Sabonis as the natural run back, either him or what's his name or Fox with a whole bunch of Clippers, including Paul George. You know what I mean? Like I would play Paul George with all those Clippers and run back with Sabonis. I think that makes a lot of sense. And then the Minnesota LA game. Um, I mean, you're getting Davis is a very reasonable one-off, and that's pretty much it. You know. So what I think I will do, and this is what I'll do, kind of as maybe I'll do this in like 5 minutes here, is I'll use SaberSim and I'll make those builds exactly like I said, and see what it is. So what I'll do is I will let's do that actually. That's great. So let's go into SaberSim. We'll talk about process. I mean, this is something I'll do sometimes. Cam Young is -6. Okay. All right. So these are all up here now, right? I'm gonna just to confirm that. And I'm not playing on FanDuel tonight, by the way. The other thing I have to do is I have to remember I got to take out my NASCAR lineups, my Xfinity lineups, because I saved some lineups, but I'm not going to be around when those starting positions come out, so I'm basically not going to be able to play. So I got to remember to delete those. Malcolm Brogdon and Terrence Ross. Wait, Malcolm Brogdon is out. Is that new? Well, let's see. He is out, and all these guys are probably going to get a little bump, especially and including Derek White. So we're going to have to play him though. I mean, it's a pretty decent projection. It is a pretty decent projection. Sam Hauser's going to get a projection. Grant Williams is going to get a projection. Derek White's going to be up to 27. Hayden Pritchard, he's not going to get in there with the Brogdon out. Robert Williams, Mike Muscala gets a little bit. Change the ownership here. So I still think I have to X this game out though. That's the problem because of all that late stuff. So what we're gonna do, so this is what we'll do. We're gonna X out the Boston game. We're gonna X out the Brooklyn game. The only thing we're gonna X out the Phoenix game. We're gonna X out the Chicago game. We're gonna X out the Miami game, and we are going to X out the okay. So what we got to do is I want to limit probably the players I have. So we're gonna actually build stats with this. So what we're gonna do is the only thing I want from Portland or Atlanta are Dame. Happy birthday. Are Dame and Lillard together. So what we got to do is we will go into here into Portland and we will X out the non Lillard players. Just so I make sure I just don't get those except for in a stack. Then I'm going to go into the Atlantas and X out the non. The non trays because I only want to use Trey in a stack with the with Lillard. Okay. So and also I don't want to get one-offs from OKC Utah unless it's like the really good plays like Giddey or Dort. So we'll go into here and then we'll go only Giddey and Dort, and we'll X out everybody else. And then we'll go into the Utah, and we're going to X out everybody except for. Well, actually, that's not true. Yeah, I'm not gonna allow myself to play Chris Dunn. It's just you know what I mean. Like it's just too valuable to get those 10 o'clockers to commit to that. So if we get to Olynyk, fine. If we get to these guys, fine. So we're good there. And I think everything else is kind of in play. So what we're going to do is first thing we're going to do, we're going to build an Orlando Charlotte stack. So first thing we're going to go and we're going to go Orlando, and we are going to let's get rid of the Utah. We're just going to lock in. What's his name? Gary Harris is starting. So we're going to lock in Moritz Wagner and Cole Anthony, both of them coming off the bench. Actually, we don't have to stack him with the Charlottes because you know what? Because they're not really correlative. You know what I mean? They're not starters or anything like that. So we're not going to build any stacks from this game, actually. So what we can do is let's go straight to the so now what we're going to do then is we'll go back to the Charlotte and we'll just X out like these guys aside from those good plays because again what I'm trying to accomplish here is I don't want to get one-offs of any I don't want to get one-offs here when I have all these late games that I have to deal with. Okay, so we could play Cole Anthony, and we can even play Jalen Suggs if we get to him, and Moritz Wagner, but that's pretty much it. Let's these guys out as well. Okay, so let's first build all we're doing for these early games, really, is we are on purpose, is we're building a Dame and Trey stack. So we'll go Dame and Trey. We're going to lock those two in, and we're going to play 10 lineups. 10 lineups with Dame and Trey. We're playing them together, and it's probably going to give me like all kinds of Clippers crap later, right? I imagine. And New Orleans and all this stuff. Excellent. Okay. It's actually giving me some Taylor Horton Tucker. All this is fine. Okay, so we're going to save that. All right. Now we have to do, so we'll keep this off to the side. Now we'll go back in, and first thing is that we want to unlock these two guys. And then now that that's the case, I want to X them out of the rest because I don't want to play these guys as one-offs. Actually, I could play them as one-offs if I get to them. Okay. So the next thing I want to do is I want to build a stack with the with OKC. Okay, so let's do that. So let's go to OKC, Utah, and the guys that we're going to play. Let's get rid of the Portlands, Atlantas. We're going to play Giddey. We're going to play Dort. We're going to play Horton Tucker. Well, we're going to play all of them. We're just going to stack the crap out of this. So Olynyk, Horton Tucker, Markkanen, Giddey, these 5. Okay. And we're going to build 10 of these. So let's build 10 lineups of these dudes. So we're combining our own kind of thoughts on delaying, and we're also still using the SaberSims, optimizer, and we're combining our projections. And so I think it's an interesting way to play. It's an interesting way to build. All right, so I'm just going to eyeball these and see what I get. This would be sec. So all these guys, it's still getting more Rozier and Batum. It's getting a lot of Moritz Wagner, which is all fine, and all this is good. Okay, so we will download these, and we're going to keep those. That's 20. We're going to build 30. We're going to build 50 lineups here. So now we're going to go back here. We're going to unlock the Utahs. Okay. We're going to keep them still available. We're going to unlock them. And then we are going to do a Morant and Jokic together. So Morant and Jokic together, same deal. We'll build 10. Okay, and still getting all the same types of guys in the middle, which is totally fine. I'm resigning myself that I get like all kinds of ownership on all these value guys from the Clippers and New Orleans, which is totally okay because that's the best value. And then what we're going to do, we'll go back. Oops. And then we are going to build I think that's all we need to do as far as forced stuff goes. Actually, let's because we could always let's get an LA Sacramento stack in. So this one we're going to have Sabonis and Paul George. Okay, Sabonis and Paul George. We're going to play 10 of those. Kurt Kitayama with the lead. And a stacked field, too. That's crazy. Oh, did I not uncheck the The Morant one. Let's see. Hold on. I don't know why it's not showing me. It's not letting me do these. It's not letting me fill in these Sacramento ones. Let's see what's happening here. This is still says 0 out of 500. Let's see what we got here. Yeah, so this is what we did. We forgot to unlock, I think, the the Denver guys. That's probably my bad. Um, yeah, see that? You still have Morant and Jokic. So you couldn't play all four of them. Oops. All right, there we go. Okay. Oops. All right. So these are the Sabonis, Paul George together lineups. Good. And so that's 40. And then for the last 10, we're just going to build without any restraints. I mean, without any stacks. So we're not going to stack anything. We're just going to build just 10 more lineups without anything. Now, Paul George is ruled out. We don't have to deal with that, but it's good because at 10 o'clock we can always change these. And this is like kind of like our regular, non whatever things. Okay, so there you go. So we'll use these 10. Put these in here as well. And that's pretty much what we are going to do, at least for now, in the NBA. Okay. We're gonna have to listen. I'm going out, but I'll be back in time to like look at the 9 o'clock changes, whatever. But that's kind of the beginning. I'm going to fill in 50 lineups into the fadeaway here. We just can't play. We just can't play Chris Dunn, given all that we have going on here. And as far as which we save in the big ones for now, we're going to go to the bottom ones. Actually, it would be the first stack was which. So the first stack, if I'm not mistaken, was that was with the tray. All right, so that's not going to be my main one. The second stack was going to be the one with all the Utah guys. That one could be a fun one. Okay, and then the Paul George one with Sabonis that could be fun as well. So I know exactly which one to put in the big one, but we'll start with something. We're going to put so 43. We're going to put this one here. 33 here. I'm going to put, I guess, number 23. Here. We're also going to put that one here. Now we're going to go up here. We're going to move our lineups up, and then we're going to be probably done until whatever news comes out a little bit later, especially with starters for some of these teams. But what's cool is again is I delayed making the majority of my decisions, which is always good. And I guess that could do it. Any questions here? Okay. So unfortunately, I have to go take my NASCAR lineups out now, and then I have to run. So good luck, everybody, and you'll see me throughout.